Hello to all Aikidoka around the world, wherever you may be. At this moment in time, we're living through a pandemic in 2021, and in Japan, since Aikido is a Japanese martial art, it's the Olympic Games. Sad for all the spectators that cannot go there, sad for the country, not having people from around the world visit. But the athletes have been training for this for years and years, if not all their life. We will watch on television the games, those who are interested in sports, and admire those people that we admire them getting up at 4 or 5 o'clock every single morning, training perhaps 6-8 hours a day. And this is their one opportunity to be tested to see if they're the world's best. And this cycle goes on. And in our own small way, even though we may not be the athletes that get up at 4 or 5 in the morning, but in our own small way, we're dedicated to sports or an art that we've chosen, or several arts. I'd like to talk today about what I'm going to offer the dedicated Aikidoka in the world who do want to polish their art, polish their self, polish their internal spirit, and to understand more about Kokyu and Ki. And for this, in a few weeks' time, I'm going to be starting a series of pros and cons about the techniques that we all know. It doesn't matter what style, please forget styles, but you all do the techniques that I should be performing. A lot of people do have my book. If you don't have my book, you can get this book on Amazon. I will send it personally anywhere in the world. I'll be starting at page 101 on Tanahenka. There's 70 pages of technical points, so you'll need to be able to refer to the book as well as listen to my voice on film. The picture here of me and Saito Sensei, perhaps you can't see it. These pictures were taken in Switzerland on a seminar he was teaching, and Paolo Codolini Sensei wanted to take some nice clear shots of the mountains in the background. And I've put a small caption under it because it was quite nice that Sensei, being a great master as well as a wonderful human being, he called me over, and before it, like a flash, I was on his back. The picture was taken, he placed me down and said, "You're not as heavy as I thought, Tony." Now, I don't know about kilos, but I weigh around about 17 stone. I vary from 16 to 17 stone. And that's a lot of weight. Compared to Saito Sensei, I was quite a giant of a man. And yet to him, because the angles of the technique were perfect, I weighed nothing. So as I say, you can pick this up on Amazon, and we can go through it together if you're interested. Now, what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to give you a snippet of what will be offered to you for what I call the serious martial artist who wants to be the best they can. You don't have to be an Olympian. It'd be nice, but it's difficult to reach those heights. But you can be the best that you can in your own dojo and in your own mind. And this is where I genuinely would like to help you. The link below takes you to my Patreon site, where if you become a contributor, you can access these films and many, many others. This is where I teach my in-depth students my nearly 50 years of knowledge that I do not give freely, I'll be honest with you. Coca Dozer. Now, if you watch the great masters and the current masters of today, you will see them make this movement. Your partner grips both wrists. You turn your hands over and you make this movement. Now, there's a fault in most of the people doing this. I don't care what level they are, they can be an eighth dan. But there's an error that they're making that Saito Sensei used to display, but he never talked about it. He just used to say, use Kokyu. So I'm going to go in the pros and cons and talk about the detail of the pros and cons. Now the con is, if you turn from the wrists and you really, with your mind, push out power into your hand blade, the tegatana, you can get quite stiff and tense under here, all the way up to your throat. So really you're blocking Kokyu, you're blocking ki, because you're like this, you're as good as you can push your hands. This is not the releasing of Kokyu. Kokyu is when the feeling is puffing up your body. So puffing up means that it's like air being blown into your body. That way you don't feel tension in your neck, your arms, your mind's not pushing. Now for beginners, yes, you do have to do this and push 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 and push. But the more advanced expression, they're holding your wrist, expression. And this expression extends away from you, and it extends like this. Watch my hands, please. It extends away from you. Notice that my hands, especially this one, I'm going this way for the camera. It would be the same on both sides. But this hand, now, the pros are, this is the level it stays at. The cons, the pros and cons, is you'll see this done. They cut down this hand. So my right hand is cutting down. And the teacher will say, use your tegatana. They cut down the person, like cutting with a sword. This is totally incorrect. Totally incorrect. It will stop your Kokyu from flowing. Your Kokyu must go outwards. What happens then is your Kokyu is so powerful that it unbalances uke. And when they get to a certain point here, they start to fall. Naturally, they fall down. This hand doesn't allow them to come up to fight against it because your Kokyu is powerful and going outwards. This hand then follows them down. So this hand is like on top of their wrist, following them down. So they won't be able to come up even if they struggle because your Kokyu is powerful. But it's not a cutting down. This is an action, a mental action. This is an aggressive action. You become the attacker, not the attacked. So if you want to find this word, Kokyu, once you do this all-embracing feeling of joy that you're experiencing is key. The key of life is flowing from you. The Kokyu is the power behind this to drive the technique so they can't push back. If they, once you do this movement, there's several different Coca Dozers. Standing Kokyu Nagi, it's the same, but it's not. You'll notice some teachers do this Kokyu Nagi, the hands stay here. You don't see them doing this with this hand when standing, so you shouldn't do it in kneeling. They're holding your wrists firmly or lightly, it doesn't matter. You tie together, whether they're firmly or lightly. You extend outwards away from you. Now, your body stays here, it doesn't lean like this. I'm sitting today on a meditation stool that I have made for me to show you that I'm not coming up off the stool. I'm staying on the stool, and if you were in Seiza, you would stay there. You can come up, yes, but if you do come up, you come up directly and then you expand. You don't move forward or else you're not expanding through your arms, you see? You see, for a moment, I'm stationary, my arm's not doing anything. My hands become stationary. The feeling is expand, expand, expand. You unbalance them at this point, they fall down, you follow them down, and then you move in with your left leg in this case, and pin them to the ground. You all know this, or should all know this, Coca Dozer. Just means sitting extension, Coca Dozer, Dozer. Kokyu, this word Kokyu, it's not really used. People are doing this expression, but they cut down. This is the fault. This is, the pros are extend, extend. The cons, cutting them down. It makes a very small circle. Yes, you are on top of them quickly, but it's not Kokyu, it's entrapment. Okay, thank you for listening. I hope that you'll join me on my Patreon site. This is a sample of what you'll be getting on each and every technique through the 70 pages, 71 to be precise. And this is a snippet to show you how so many teachers around the world are teaching Aikido, but they're missing some vital points. And the vital point is the polish that makes the athlete. Anybody can run, anybody in condition can run. Sadly, those who have disabilities and cannot, hopefully find other ways of exercising their mind and body. But those of us who can run, we can all run, but professional will run smoother, faster, and all we can do is watch and admire. I'd like you to be watched and admired by your students, by fellow practitioners. And if you're a teacher, I'd like you, at whatever age you are, we can still learn, we can still polish. I still get so much joy from just this movement. You don't need a partner to enjoy it. The tingling and the energy between my hands and my whole being is alive. This is Kokyu. This is key. Thank you for your time.